Choral Artisans. I am glad to see all of you and just want to make an announcement actually and share with you some research that actually just came out this week from scientists and different choral directors and organizations across the country, and the impact of COVID-19 on what we do and what we're about. But first let me say, I'm reminded of Jake Runested's piece. When the seams burst, when the traps ensnare, when your body breaks, when the light flees, sing then, for then your soul is song. I'm excited that actually on Monday, May the 18th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. there will be a virtual Zoom choir rehearsal. And this is open to not only our current singers that are involved in our spring session, but also those who would be interested that weren't actually signed up or a part of this spring session, and just wanted to make that available to you. It's important because we're making a transition, and that transition is moving our physical rehearsal, where we're all in the same room, to move it online, virtually. And there's some very important reasons as to why we need to do this, not only for the health of us individually, but what's best for the health of our group corporately as well. Well, I have in my hand a report that came out this week, actually May the 5th, that is some sobering news and has really rocked the choral community in our country. There was actually a panel discussion of different directors of various organizations. One was the director of the National Association of the Teachers of Singing, NATS, the American Choral Directors Association, ACDA. Tim Sharp is the president there. The director of Chorus America, which I'm a member of Chorus America, and also the director of the Barbershop Harmony Society, and then lastly the Performing Arts Medical Association. They laid out a sobering view of the future of what choral music will look like over these next months. And they were interested in answering some questions. One of them was, what does medical science tell us about singing and how the virus is spread and how that might relate to the decisions that we would make as chorus directors? Is there such a thing as a safe rehearsal? And how might we best protect our chorus members and our private voice students? What does the data tell us about our audiences and when they might return to hear us perform in a live setting? What can we do now, actually, to prepare our singers for an uncertain future? And then what questions do we need to ask ourselves in formulating a plan for the future? So these different directors had the opportunity to ask these particular questions to two otolaryngologists, or ear, nose, and throat doctor. One of them was Lucinda Halstead, who's the is the president and the medical director of the Department of Otolaryngology at the University of South Carolina. And then Dr. Donald Milton, who is an infectious bio-aerosol specialist at the University of Maryland. And here are some of the things that they have communicated. Again, that's even been a little bit difficult for me to, I'm just wrestling with some of the things that I heard and wanted to share them with you. The bottom line is that there really is no safe way for singers to rehearse together until there is a COVID-19 vaccine and a 95% effective treatment in place. And the estimates of that are at least 18 to 24 months away. There's 3 critical challenges to safely bring singers together. Number 1 is that there's no spacing solution for singing groups that would eliminate risk. And part of this is lack of proper ventilation. She had mentioned that really physical distancing of a choir on stage, for instance, the Westminster choir, they would need a football stadium to space apart. Number 2, another critical challenge is that masks don't provide safe methods of singing. There really are no barriers currently safe for singing. They talked about that even an N95 mask, actually, it's difficult to breathe, you become hot, it decreases the levels of oxygen with rebreathing, which can cause headaches and could injure people with significant health issues like asthma. The third critical challenge that they mentioned is that current standard testing still has a 3 to 5% false negatives, and rapid tests are not sensitive enough for large group testing. That, in a nutshell, is what the experts are saying, those that are experts in the choral field who the safety of their singers is first place, and that is my heart as well. Let me see if there's anything else. They reiterated that really an effective vaccine, which would probably take 18 to 24 months, would be our safest bet, and drug treatments that are 95% effective with a time range of 6 to 12 months. So the road ahead is difficult, and realizing these harsh realities, it's very sobering. That's the only word that I could think of, and disappointing. However, we as the choral artisans who love choral music, who love to sing together, we're not going to let this hinder our work and the development of our choral community, because what we're going to do is we're going to take our rehearsals online with Zoom. And I feel good about that. I've spent the last couple of months actually just watching and doing some research of various choirs and what they have been doing, what has worked, what hasn't worked by going online and having a virtual rehearsal. I've looked also into some equipment that would help facilitate efficient sessions that you all would be able to enjoy this experience, even though we can't come together physically. Experts, why do I personally think that it would be a good choice for us to move our rehearsals online? I can think of a couple of things, just very quickly, 3 that come to mind. One would be a sense of community. And we're grateful for the community that has taken place as we meet together. And we're in a season right now where we have been asked to isolate. And so a sense of community is more vital than ever. Number 2 is that music is a language. And so when we make music, and I've talked a little bit about this, that we're speaking a language. Well, it takes constant practice to stay fluent in this language. And so by meeting virtually online, we can continue to develop our musicianship as choral artisans, building our vocal skills. That would be another reason. And then lastly, just to keep things feeling normal as possible. And I guess really normal isn't the word, but adjusting to our new normal. I know we've all have felt just the bombardment from media and the information that's coming to us, and it's easy to be susceptible to worry and to panic maybe. And so what does it look like to establish or reestablish routines in our lives that would help facilitate the importance of just our daily lives, and especially keeping that routine as choral singers? I think it's important. Now, it's nearly impossible to run an online choir rehearsal in which we're able to hear all the singers. There's just no way that that can happen for various reasons, which I'm sure you're aware of, but even as we think about just connectivity with the internet and lag time. However, we do live in an age of technology, and there's video conferencing tools that give us some great options. One of the tools being that it allows participants for you to call in on any device. It can be a laptop computer, it can be an iPad or a tablet or a phone, actually, and that all of us can be in one place online, that we're going to be able to see one another, and also that we'll be able to chat with each other as well. It gives us the opportunity to see everyone face to face, for me to provide some vocal instruction, possibly have some group discussions as well, but simply just to stay connected as community. So important. And so really Zoom is the best platform for chorus organizations as they think of continuing to move forward, and there are many, many choruses out there that are moving to the Zoom platform. Let me just share quickly about Zoom, and I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with Zoom and are using it. Maybe some of you aren't. Zoom, the great thing about it is that it's free up to 100 participants. It's easy, it's reliable. It allows two-way conversation so that we can communicate together as a group. However, it also gives the ability to the host, which would be me, the ability to mute all the participants so that you're not getting overwhelmed with everyone talking and singing at the same time. There's also a chat box, which is a feature of Zoom, and you're able to raise your hand or type in a question that I would be able to see and be able to address, answer some of those questions for you. There are several options which allow the singers, which allow you to see each other and or just the host. You really feel a sense of community with this platform, and so I'll be providing some tutorials associated with Zoom and ways that we can benefit. What are some of the unexpected benefits of virtual rehearsals? And granted, I recognize that it's just second best to having a physical rehearsal. But in listening to other choral directors, they've been able to share actually some of the benefits that they have seen in their own choirs, and just want to share a couple of them with you. Number one is that singers can focus on individual progress and self-evaluation. Even though I, as a host, can't hear everyone singing and offer feedback to each singer, the singer is actually able to do that, to self-reflect on their own sound, to focus individually, and to see, okay, how can I improve? That's one benefit. Number two is that everyone is able to see the conductor. And in our physical rehearsals, maybe some of you are far away, and so by having me up close and personal, so to speak. It may make some of you nervous. But with the camera as close to my face, you, the singer, will be able to see things more closely than you would that you would not see in a normal rehearsal. Also, I, as the music leader, can focus on vocal modeling. Virtual rehearsals allow me as the leader actually to sing and helping to demonstrate vocal quality and technique throughout the session. So how do we form this vowel? What are some metaphors that would best communicate what we're trying to achieve? Another benefit is that it provides the opportunity for everyone to participate. And even though you might be sick or not feeling well, and when we were meeting together in a physical space, you just couldn't show up. Well, with our virtual sessions, you're able to listen and to watch and still participate. And then there's also an opportunity with the Zoom software to record those sessions, and then I can make those available at a later date. Hopefully there'll be positive feedback. Some of the feedback that other choir directors have mentioned from their singers have been, it's a great temporary experience. We recognize that we're not going to do this forever, but for our situation and the reality that we're facing, it's something that we need to do. Singers have said, I love the opportunity to connect, and it's great to see people and their faces. Some have said, well, it's like a personal voice lesson, able to share the score, my screen with you, but it would also want you to have your music with you as well. And another benefit is that it's just good to be back with family, right? And I know you feel that way, and I feel that way too. So don't forget, there'll be more information coming your way, but Monday, May the 18th, the Choral Artisans, we're going online, we're going virtual, and I am excited about it. There will be some challenges, but we'll be able to face those challenges together and work out if there are any technical kinks. I've tried to do a lot of research and try to work some of those kinks out before we actually meet together on the 18th. So pray that that all kind of comes together. All right? So we'll see you actually on the 18th of May. You can RSVP by actually emailing me at rick@resonanceinitiative.com, and will send out an invite via Zoom. You'll have to download the program on your device. A lot of you have already done this, but for those of you that have not, very easy to download. It's free. Fasten your seatbelts, right? When the seams burst, when your body breaks, when the light flees, what are the choral artisans going to do? We are going to continue to sing. The song still goes on. The song is still unfolding.